As Washington, D.C.'s iconic cherry blossoms approach peak bloom this spring, you may notice the trees are flowering earlier than in years past. ABC News Chief Climate Correspondent Ginger Z explains why.
If you've been to Washington, D.C. in the early spring, you've probably seen the glorious cherry blossom trees flowering along the tidal basin. The annual bloom comes with plenty of fanfare, even its own festival.
It's breathtaking, to be honest.
But now it's all happening earlier because of climate change. The National Park Service has been recording data on the trees' peak bloom since 1921, which was just 9 years after they were gifted to the U.S. by Japan. The average peak bloom is April 3rd, but these days it's coming sooner. According to the EPA, for 15 of the last 20 years, it's been more than a week early.
Of course, the biggest problem is if you move bloom too far forward, then a late freeze event comes along. We get what the meteorologists talk about as an Alberta clipper or something like that. And that freeze can essentially wipe out a crop overnight.
And that could be the end of cherry blossom season. Earlier blooms and more volatile weather patterns are markers of seasonal shifts connected to climate change. As our world warms, we're going to see hotter summers, shorter and milder winters, and earlier spring blooms. This year's cherry blossom peak bloom is forecast for a few days sooner than average, between March 28th and 31st. Last year, the trees bloomed 2.5 weeks sooner than average. Despite potential challenges from an early bloom, horticulturist Chris Walsh thinks people are still going to turn out to the tidal basin to see the flowers every spring.
We're all fair weather visitors for the cherry blossom. So even if they're early, you're going to get a day or two that's pretty darn warm, and there's going to be a mob at the tidal basin. There's no doubt about that. It's a very short-lived flowering period, and I think that's what the Japanese sort of talk about, one of the reasons it's so evanescent.
With this Climate Minute, I'm Ginger Z.
You can also see cherry blossoms in Virginia Beach. Cherry Blossom Festival events run from March 29th through April 5th at Red Wing Park. There will be garden tours, cultural performances, and martial arts demonstrations.